My topic that I will be talking about for my argumentative speech will be colorism, of course, and a little bit of background about colorism. It is the discrimination among people because of their skin tone, not necessarily because of their race, but because of the color of their skin. And usually, lighter men and women are often favored more than the darker men and women. And sometimes it can be turned around depending on the culture and things of that nature. But my argument is that I believe under the topic of discrimination, which we all learn in school, we go from, history and racism and sexism, and we learn about these broad topics, but we never learn about colorism. It may sometimes come up while talking about those other topics, but it's not a topic of its own. And I do believe that this is a topic that needs to be discussed in the schools under discrimination, because it is a type of discrimination. And not only is it a type of discrimination, but it's a type of discrimination that often occurs, and it's a type of discrimination that people don't always realize that, it's happening because they don't know more about it. So I do think that is something that should be talked about in class, and I don't think it should be a whole class on just colorism or a whole lesson. I think it should be a part of a lesson under discrimination, or a 1 or 2 day lesson. Learn a few things, take a test on it, just so that we can get it out there more and people can not show those colorism signs, like not realizing what they're doing because they don't even know that they're doing it. They don't know that it's a bad thing. They don't know that they're hurting people. Just like I was reading that in the court system, women that are lighter skinned have a 12% better chance at serving less of a sentence time. And that's because, not necessarily because the judge likes lighter skinned women better, but sometimes people have in their minds already that lighter skins look better, lighter skins are better people. If there's a darker skinned male at a job and a lighter skinned male at a job, that hiree may not choose the lighter skin first, even if they have the same resume, the same backgrounds, they've worked the same jobs, they both had amazing interviews. There's a greater chance that interview person will choose that lighter skinned candidate. And it's not always a bad thing. It may not always be about colorism, but it's sometimes we have in our minds that this is better than the other, even though it's really not. And it may not be to hurt them, or it's just that we're ignorant to the fact that that's not right. And that's not the case ever. It has nothing to do with skin color, whether or not this person may be a better candidate than the next. If, that light-skinned person did have a better degree, or whatever was a little bit better than that darker skinned person, it's not because of their skin color. It's because they went an extra mile to get whatever they had to get done. And I do believe that often we don't think about it, and we, tend to pick that lighter skinned person over the darker skinned person just because, it's like nature. But if we learn that early on, even in elementary school, let's have a small class on it. And then again in middle school to refresh our brains now that they're a little bit more developed. And in high school, senior year, right before we get off into the real world, tell us that information again. It's not right. Give us the background on that information. Even in college, I see, I took a psychology of women class, and there's African American studies classes and different classes on race and gender. But where is our class on, colorism? Let's break down each sector. Let's break down, okay, we can have a class on women, but let's also talk about color, colors inside the women. There are different races, but let's also talk about the different colors and how that affects women as well. So I do think that is something we should be learning in school. And you know, it won't hurt us to learn one thing extra. It will, I believe, benefit everyone to have a small portion of colorism. You know, that they learn in school, not too much, but just enough so that we can become more aware and not get out there and hurt others by the ignorance of not even knowing what it is.